We are. Hello out there, everyone. Welcome to Life Without Limits, the show where I have the most interesting, fascinating guests in the universe to talk about topics that are relevant for you today. My name is Joan Kaler. I am a psychotherapist. I am a national and international energy psychology coach. I'm a practitioner of the gold standard of emotional freedom techniques and a trainer and a speaker. If you have any questions for me at all, please feel free to go to joankaler.com. Today's show, it is my privilege and honor to have Alina Frank with me today. And the show is called Design Him, Find Him, and Keep Him. So this ought to have some ears perked up out there somewhere. Alina Frank is an energy psychology trainer. She teaches matrix re-imprinting and emotional freedom techniques. In her practice, she works with women on issues related to intimacy, sex, relationships, and how to attract the perfect relationship. She's been doing this in her practice since 2005. So we definitely have something in common, Alina, because I started my practice in 2005 too.
Ah, great. Yeah.
So without further ado, Alina, I would like our audience to know how you found out about emotional freedom techniques and what attracted you to become a trainer.
Yeah. So I had been suffering from a mysterious illness, and I was so sick that I struggled with it for 12 years. And if I tell you that I tried everything under the sun alternative to help me, that would be putting it mildly. I really did everything. I took supplements. I changed my diet more times than I can tell you about. I went on meds. I went off meds. I did all kinds of acupuncture, Chinese medicine for a year. I did Ayurvedic medicine with a practitioner for a year, and really nothing was helping me. And one thing that I talk about in my work is that I really have what sustained me throughout my life is a real connection to God and my faith and trusting. But when it came to that, I really hadn't asked to, like, can you help me? I was doing it myself, and it occurred to me just when I had tried one more thing that had failed. I just said, God, if I am meant to heal from this, you're going to have to show me the way, because I'm just done. I'm just tired of trying to figure this out myself. And then, of course, the miraculous thing happened, right? When you ask and you get out of the way and you have faith, and I had been going through some personal growth with all of those different alternative methods that I had been exploring. So I was just really ripe for something to come in. And I don't tell a lot of people this, but what I got was letters in my head. I got EFT in my head.
Wow.
And then I searched online, and lo and behold, after I said, well, it can't be electronic funds transfer, right? Probably on the second page of Google or whatever search engine I was using back then, I found the founder's manual. So Gary Craig, the founder of EFT, I found his manual. It was available free online. And I just started working on myself like the Dickens. And I knew all along in that search for something to help me, I knew that it was related to a traumatic event.
Wow.
6 months after I had a stillborn is when I started getting these mysterious things. So I just went at it, and I talked to Gary. I trained with Gary, and I knew that I wanted to reach as many people as possible. I wanted to teach people that were already working with clients either in a health capacity or mental health capacity. I wanted to teach them how to do this for their clients, and that's how it started. And then from that, which was, if it had helped nothing else in my life, I would have been eternally grateful. But as it goes, you have one big giant boulder in your path that you have to address. And once you clear that giant boulder, which for me was health, it was the catalyst. And then you go further down your path and you realize, oh, so I do have other issues too that need to be addressed. And so the next big thing for me was acknowledging that I was not in the right romantic relationship after 15 years, and just being able to acknowledge that it wasn't going to work out, and then moving from that sexless relationship and healing and getting very clear about what I wanted. I use the tools that I use with clients and students to then attract the love of my life, and someone you've had on the show, Dr. Craig Weiner. And then from there, I came across another big boulder, which was my money issue that I had not been really wanting to look at. And I really think for many women, the money and relationship are so closely linked.
Yes.
And so I thought, okay, so I need to look at that boogeyman and figure out what's going on. And so I would say that was nine years ago I started on that journey. And so I would say it took me 2 years from almost declaring bankruptcy to having a thriving 6-figure a year practice. And so it just has changed every single part of my life. So I can look at that I have and everything that I've been able to achieve, and I give EFT the credit. And then matrix reimprinting was just a nice additional advanced tool that I added to that bag of tricks.
That's why I'm so thrilled to be coming down to Florida in March to study with you and Dr. Craig Weiner to learn matrix reimprinting. I do not have that skill at the time. I think when someone experiences EFT, if one could say, one might become addicted to it, because when I started using it myself and started learning from it, it was so fascinating to me to be introduced to it. I was introduced to it in a whole nother way. And then I watched my clients take rapid leaps in their healing. Then I started using it. I always tell the story to my clients in that when I started my business back in 2005, I was terrified. So the first day, it's like, I can't do this. And I'm on my way to my new office and I'm tapping under my collarbone and I'm like, okay, pedal to the metal. You can do this. You can do this. It's going to be okay. I was terrified. And here we are 12 years later, and I am so blessed, thanks to EFT, clearing out so many of my boulders. But I happily say I am addicted to emotional freedom techniques.
It's what I see sometimes is that someone will find the catalyst that you have to deal with. And, in your case, it was you were starting a practice, and what do I do? And for me, it was health, but it could be anything that drives you to the breaking point, like, I need help. And so half the people I find, like, really are like you're saying, they're just so devoted, they're crazy about it, they can't wait to just share it out there. And then the other half just kind of think it was for that one thing that they did, and then maybe they put it aside, and years later, even practitioners, I will ask practitioners, and so how often do you tap? And it's like, I haven't tapped on that. Or I say they're giving me some problem that they're having in their business, and I say, have you tapped on that? And they say no.
And why?
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a wonderful system. I always say
Hmm.
you can't. I'm going to be teaching a course later on in January on attracting um, the dreams of your life in the new year. But you can't be organized, you can't be motivated unless all the channels are clear.
Yeah,
I find when my channels are clear, then the solution to whatever the problem is comes to me. I'm able to
absolutely.
solve it. I'm able to fix it. If I'm frustrated about something, I tap on it, the frustration melts away,
Yep.
and then I'm able to move forward with it. So,
Sure.
gosh, why would anybody want to be stuck? Oh, can't imagine it.
Well, I mean, there are some reasons, and we talk about this in the trainings. Is there are subconscious saboteurs, right?
Right.
That it's the subconscious mind, or in another lingo, it's the ego that wants to prevent us from growing, expanding, and changing because it feels threatened in some way. It doesn't feel safe to do that, and so we just with EFT, we just go right at it and acknowledge that that stuff is there, and face it, and gently release it for us to really, like you said, clear those channels.
Clear those channels. So I know everybody's saying, okay, Jen, let's get on with it. I want to find out how to design them, find them, and keep them. So tell everyone about your program.
Yeah, so really interesting story. When I first met Craig, I was going through my divorce, and it was really not the best time to have a partner show up in my life. And at the time that I had started dating him, I had just finished up with an amazing client of mine who she and I just really immediately hit it off. And her name is Julie Vinnick. And Julie said to me, I want us to talk about not my issue that I worked with you on in private sessions. I want to end that relationship so we can talk about possibly becoming business partners. And she introduced me to her program, which was based on her corporate work. So Julie was a top corporate behaviorist, and she would work with Fortune 100 corporations, and they'd say, we really need to fill this position. We have a VP of international sales position that's open. We need a person to be a go-getter, communicative, assertive, and these particular qualities that this person needed to have. And she would design a interview and evaluation process to see if those potential candidates had those traits. So meanwhile, her women's group said, well, that's great that you're doing that and you have this great reputation for filling corporate jobs. What about the most important role in a woman's life? And that is how to fill the mate position, your romantic partnership. And so from her corporate work, she designed this other work that it was back then, it was called Right Mate for You. It's transformed into Learning to Find Love. And and so when I heard about this, I was blown away. I had never heard that kind of clarity for attracting your partner. And at the time, she had kept statistics on all the classes that she had run, and she had a 98 successful happy marriage rate. And all her graduates had met their partner, that 98%, within 2 years. And what was great about that moment in time, meeting Julie and finding out about this system, was she said, before I work with you, because what she wanted me to do was adding the healing component, because she felt that if we added EFT to the mix, it would break old patterns. Women would have clarity earlier on. They wouldn't have the feeling on other levels that are suboptimal to really deciding this is the person that I want to be with. And so she said, before I say yes to all of this, I need to know who you're with. And so she put me through her assessment, and she said, oh, I'm so happy you are with the right guy. And because if we proceeded with this, then I would feel the need to help you. And that's not what we want to do. We want to go out there and help women to see how amazing this kind of relationship can be. And so it's not that I would have said, Craig, Julie said, no, you're not my mate. I'm just going to go off and see you. But it gave me confirmation to go through the difficult time I was going through when it was just, children are involved and houses being liquidated. All this stuff was going on, and the divorce. And so I kept thinking, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe I'm listening to my friends that are saying, hey, why don't you just hit pause on that for a while? It seems, challenging in the amount of time and energy. And it was good confirmation to hear that from Julie. So fast forward, Julie is writing her book, and we stopped teaching classes together for a bit. And she has a very traumatic situation happen. Her husband died. So the guy that she attracted into her life, the love of her life, died of a massive heart attack in his sleep in their shoreline apartment condo, in bed, and she happened to be not there at the time. So he died alone in the condo during the holidays of a massive heart attack in his sleep. Julie then was really focused on getting her book out there, and she would tell me from time to time, Alina, if anything ever happens to me, you're the person to take this out into the world. You know the system. At that point, I was just teaching it to my private clients and waiting for her to finish the book so we could take it on the road. And so, unbelievably, last holiday season, so a year ago, last holiday season, Julie died alone in that same condo, in that same bed, of a massive heart attack in her sleep.
Oh.
So if you know family constellations work, right, this whole idea that there are so many things going on multiple levels, and with the people that we love and are connected to. And so I talked to someone that said, oh, that is a classic family constellation move where you go, I will follow, and I will follow you in the same exact way that you died. Mm-hmm. And so I know that as sad as it was for all of us to lose Julie, that she's with him. And so I know that the suffering for her for having lost him is over. And then I just decided, okay, so I do have to take up this work. I really do have to get it out there. And so there's something special about February 14th for me and for Julie. And so this last February, I started the first cohort with a group of women. We're on our third cohort of the program. And already in the first cohort that I started in February, we have 3 women that are very much, one is definitely down the aisle. She said yes. And the other 2 are on their way, and looks like they've met their partner.
See, ladies, cool stuff. Everybody who's listening right now, and gentlemen too, it is possible to meet the love of your life. So I don't want to hear, oh, there are no good men out there. There are great guys out there.
Yeah. So I will tell you, I live in a town of 786 people. So you couldn't get more small town than here. And I thought I knew all the alternative healing arts practitioners because we're this small and we network with each other. And then if you take a subset of a subset, how many Jews are on this island? Maybe 5 of us, we know each other. And then I didn't meet him until it was just the perfect moment in time when I was going through this expansion and this healing, that he walked in at just the right time. So it is really a matter of addressing your past wounds to get you to the place where you're open and ready to take that invitation to say yes, and to look at what has happened in the past that has led you to not finding your ideal partner. And so there are a few ways that what we look for in, and so if some of you that are listening, I'd love for you to think about bad relationships, or in our program we call them suboptimal. So there are a number of ways they can show up. So I want you to think about those relationships that you know are like lousy, right? That you see that couple, and maybe your friends or your girlfriend is in a relationship and she's told you about this. See if you can identify some of the relationships that you have in your life, or the ones that you've seen out there modeled, and see which one your friends or maybe you are in. So the first suboptimal relationship is where you don't really respect your partner. You don't respect his behaviors. You don't, there are things that he does that just drive you crazy. And so there might be other things that are really good about the relationship, but if that part isn't there, what tends to happen is you want to fix him. You want to fix him. You want to change him. You want to say, gee, if you just did X, if you were just Y, let's say that you are very much attracted to or have respect for somebody who's a go-getter, and you're with somebody who's not at all. That's going to drive you crazy. And so I see very nice women becoming, bitchy, angry, frustrated, and it has to do with the fact that he's just not going to change. The other thing that that happens in that suboptimal relationship is that the man feels it. Even if she doesn't outwardly, try to change him all the time, or she's made peace with it after a while, the man feels it. And what I see then is sometimes the man will cheat because he really feels he's not good enough. And so that kind of lack of self-esteem kind of festers, and he's looking for that kind of self-esteem elsewhere. So that's category number one. Category number two is a suboptimal relationship where the man does not show you that he thinks and feels deeply that you are the queen, that he treats you like gold, that there is no one on the planet more important than you. And he's going to show you completely. There's no gray area, because what women tend to settle for is the man that runs hot and cold, the man who's there when he's there, and then she doesn't hear from him. She, doesn't get a text from him for a few days after she's texted him. Things like that. That failure to identify very quickly, this guy doesn't really feel that I am it. I need to move on. That can be really very, very hard for women, because your self-esteem suffers and you try to fix yourself. You try to lose weight or look better or live elsewhere or make more money, or if I had the right friends or the right car or I lived in the right place. So all that kind of craziness happens with that kind of relationship. So that's when you don't feel that you are treated like a queen. And then the last suboptimal relationship is kind of the most sad, because it's all about that magic fairy dust, two people, like that's that juicy chemistry that happens, that super attraction that you feel like you've known this person forever. You've known that person for lifetimes. Oh my God, that kiss just blew my socks off. That kind of thing. If it's not there, oh boy. Well, the chemistry that happens in the body. I'm attracted to someone and I feel it. It's cellular. I feel that electricity. Well, if it's not there, guess where the problems are going to show up? If a woman settles for that kind of suboptimal relationship, it's going to show up in illness. It's going to show up in all kinds of problems with sex. Sexual reproductive organs have problems in that case. Or else it's food addictions. Or I've seen women addicted to exercise, or some kind of thing that has to do with the body. So it's a challenge with the body. It shows up as a challenge in the body in terms of illness or things like that. So what is really sad, even, I mean, just beyond that, you might end up with something like that, is that your friends and your family will not understand. They'll say, what
Yes.
the hell is wrong with you? Great guy, amazing man, treats you like gold. What's wrong with you? And so you beat yourself up because you think it's, it's just my thinking. Why can't I fall in love with this guy? Why can't I make chemistry happen? And that is just the magic of putting these two people that are meant to be together. Now, here's the problem. In our culture, we lead with that. We think that chemistry equals, that's it. That's the one. It's the Hollywood model, right? It's the Hollywood model of, I see a man across the crowded room, our eyes lock, we meet, I go googly, and that's it. I fall in love, and and the less I know, it's almost the better, especially in Hollywood movies. The less I know about this guy, he remains kind of a mysterious stranger, the more turned on I'm going to be. And here's what I have found out working with my clients and myself. I went through this. This is what I found out. That kind of a relationship that bowls you over from the start, you need to take extra precaution with that, because it might be, those of you that believe in karma and reincarnation, it could be a past life debt.
Ooh.
It could be that you are meant to be together so that you can work out some horrible stuff that happened way back. And so I'm here to tell you that you can work out that karmic debt as friends and not be chemically connected if you have sex with those people. So a guy comes into your life, you're like, I know you, I recognize you. Then you step back, you do the critical analysis to see if he's the one, and if he is not in other categories, then you need to just say, okay, I have some karma with you, let's figure this out, because it is infinitely easier to deal with betrayal and pain and all of that, and then real heartbreak, real pain of suffering, that then becomes physiological, because that the chemistry was so strong that when that's over, it is like being withdrawing from a drug.
Yes.
So that's my few tips. Is this is what you look for, and if it's not there, ladies, like Julie used to say in her corporate work, hire slowly, fire quickly. Just like be nice about it, and just say, you're a great guy for someone else, not me.
Wow. Holy smokes. What a system.
Yeah, it's a great system.
Incredible. What I hear from you, Alina, is hope.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that women don't have to be stuck. Hope that there is someone out there for them. Whoa. This is
absolutely.
So cool.
And one of the things, when you finally get through the system and you've identified who exactly it is that you are writing about and thinking about and visualizing, that's when I drop this little seed for my my students and clients. The reason why they are getting all that information is because they're reading his field already. So when they meet, it's like, I know you. You're the guy on my sheet.
Okay, so then when you say design him, find him, and keep him, so then you're taking your clients through the work of designing, getting rid of the self-saboteur, and then designing who they're meant to be with. Then when they become clear, by field, you're talking about the energy field.
Exactly. Okay. So that guy exists, and that's what's so fun to see women's eyes light up. You mean I didn't just make him up in some imaginary fictional, white knight on a horse? No, this guy exists, and that's how you have this detailed about him, is you're reading that field of you being together in the future. You're just picking up on it in advance of you meeting. And that's always really, and so because every woman is very, very different and unique in her tastes and her desires and her wishes for an ideal partner, then I've done hundreds of these visions, and there are no two that are alike. Everyone is completely unique. And it's very different than an online compatibility track thing.
Right.
And people don't know this. Meeting your partner on an online site without these tools, you have a 50% chance of divorce. Same as meeting them elsewhere. You tend to think, oh, because we do this algorithm and it's all keyed in of who my ideal partner is. No, that it doesn't work that way, because they're missing the components of really stepping back and analyzing.
Wow. Okay, world. You heard it from Alina Frank.
Yeah.
It's more than possible. It will happen for you.
Mm-hmm. So one of the little taglines that we use for this course, which Craig and I are teaching together this summer, next summer we were invited to teach it at a retreat center with men and women, and that's the first time. So I have a feeling it's going to just be so yummy. But one of the taglines that we use for the course is Earthmate, Soulmate.
Oh.
Because we understand what soulmate is, right? That's the chemistry. That's the you two come together and you feel like you've known each other forever. But that's not always so easy, as I explained. An earthmate relationship is the kind of relationship that's easy. The hallmark of that kind of relationship is it is very easy. So people look at us and how we teach together in workshops and how we live our lives, and they're like, what's your secret? And I said, you got to know what you're looking for and choose well. And the couples that I know are in this kind of relationship that Craig and I have had, we're going to celebrate our 8th wedding anniversary in January. The people, small percentage of people that have this kind of relationship, I've asked them all, what's your secret? And the answer is always the same. I don't know. It's just easy. And so can you just imagine not ever having to tell your girlfriends, what did that text mean? What did his email mean? He didn't call me. What does that mean? Should I go to bed with him yet? And this is what he said to me. I mean, none of that goes into the equation. And you never have to worry that your relationship is going to go off the rails. It just gets better and better and easier and easier. And that sexual chemistry never goes away.
Okay, say that again, Alina. Sexual chemistry never
goes away. In that relationship that I'm talking about. In others, yes. In others, it could be a whole host of things that the conflict within the relationship cause you to not feel sexually attracted to your partner. The conflicts, the arguing, he didn't take out the garbage. But in the kind of relationship I'm talking about, no, it's there. It's always there. And it just is so... It just feels so safe to not have to worry about any of that.
I'm so glad and grateful that you're doing this work, because as a therapist, I used to do couples counseling.
Yes.
And if people would come in, I would think, why did you choose him or her? And it was like all I could do to say, because I'm not supposed to say, you two are not meant for each other, and I have to do separation counseling, divorce mediation, whatever it is, because I don't know what attracted you to each other in the first place, but this is so wrong. Yeah. I can't say that as a therapist.
Yes.
But these people would come in time after time. They wouldn't take my suggestions, and I thought, oh, I'm out of this particular population. I can't handle this anymore. And some people I would say, don't do it. Don't,
Yes.
I'm telling you. And they would
Yes.
do it.
Yes. And what would happen?
They're miserable.
Yes. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's sad. And you know, I want to just tell women, we're in 2017, we're almost in 2018. You don't really need a man. You don't need a man. You can have a baby, you can have a career, you can make your own money, you can have friends, you can live a very wonderful life being single. It's so if you are going to, if that isn't it, if that's is like a dream of yours to be in a committed, monogamous, happy, juicy relationship, which I think is a wonderful part of being alive. If you want that, then why settle? Do not settle, because it's just leads to all kinds of chaos, which Joan
Yep.
is telling you
Yep.
about, and I've seen over and over again.
Yep. 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 Alina, I can hear, I can feel all my listeners saying, okay, how do I get this program? How do I get in touch with Alina? So tell everybody where to find you.
Okay, yeah, so you can go to learningtofindlove.com.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Learningtofindlove.com. Yes. So everybody out there, take a deep breath. All the ladies out there that are not happy with their current relationship or looking for their earthmate and their soulmate. Everybody take a deep breath in through their nose. Exhale out the mouth. Help is available.
And I want to also just encourage you, if you're listening, to do something. Do not stay stuck for the next 10 years.
Yes.
Make a decision to really, really give it a go because you think it's just something small that needs to be fixed and tweaked, or get out of there because life is precious. And
Amen.
when you are with the right partner, all other areas of your life transform. It did for me. The money part, all of those things, they just come together much more easily when you are in the right relationship where you have the support of a person who loves you, who encourages you, who inspires you every day.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Alina, for sharing your story, sharing your program, sharing hope. So everyone out there, you know where to find me. Maybe not so much for couples counseling, but everything else, including EFT and energy healing, I'm there. And whether you're across the street or on the other side of the world, I'm here for you. And definitely contact Alina for her program. Just beautiful. I want to thank everyone out there for listening, for watching. Please tell your friends about this program. Please go to iTunes for comments, rate it. I really appreciate that. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Alina, for being a guest. I can't wait to meet you in person.
Me too. Thanks, Joan.
Thanks, everyone. Signing off for now until next time.